Welcome back into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
And my name's Brett Parnell, and we have I guess this is a biannual thing on Tribal Council Chat, but it's not our mainstream episode recap. Bruce, you want to tell the audience what we're doing for this special episode?
This is something we do every season. If you've been with us for a little while, you should be used to this. Finale preview.
Yeah,
So
finale preview. So this season's a bit different. We only have 5 players, unlike the usual 6.
I thought we normally had 5 in the finale.
We've had 6 for quite a bit.
Interesting.
Either way, I might be thinking of a long time ago too. But this year's finale will be a bit different. We have 5 players. We have a live reunion again. So that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah.
Did you see the rumor about the reunion today online?
No, what is it?
I saw this on the Chat BCC thing. Apparently all 50 winners were invited to the live reunion.
Whoa. Well, there's not 50 winners.
Well, I'm assuming, okay. Fair enough, 48 winners, but the winners of every season.
That's awesome.
There's not 50 winners, there's 48 winners now, and there'll be 49 winners by the end of this.
Yeah. Interesting. Like, they invited all of them back, supposedly?
Supposedly.
That's interesting. I want to believe that, but I also have a hard time believing they want Brian Heidick anywhere near this thing, for example.
I mean, that is fair. It might be most of them, but...
All of them but him?
I mean, there's probably less likely ones to come than him. Brian seems to be a questionable individual, but pretty active online once in a while.
He's gotten in trouble for some stuff, though, hasn't he?
Yeah. He still follows the show.
Hatch also seems unlikely because, you know, Winners at War, he was upset he wasn't on and took, from what I remember on his YouTube, took a blowtorch to Jeff in the show.
Oh.
I might be.
You mean figuratively?
Figuratively, yes.
Okay, for a second I thought you meant that he actually, like, lit something up properly.
No, not at all. I feel like I remember him putting out YouTube videos.
Yes, he did run a YouTube channel during the pandemic that was all on the insides of Survivor from the perspective of Richard Hatch.
But we also saw him and Sandra post pictures together recently, so maybe he's back in the show, good graces. Who knows?
And they were with some other people too. Rupert was with them. Gabler was with them.
I bet he'd come if he was invited.
Oh, I'm sure.
46 had 5 in the finale.
The real question that I want to know is Natalie White going to show up? That would be fun.
So they can give her 19 confessionals all season again for a season she won?
I mean, who knows? She'd probably get just as much airtime in the live reunion as she did on her season, except for whatever time they give her, it would be more time than Russell Hantz is going to get in the live reunion.
Do we know that, though? Because if he shows up in the crowd, they're going to give him screen time.
Fair. But I don't think they want him there.
No, but, like, what if he just shows up? They're not going to, like, kick him out or anything.
Fair enough.
I kind of do hope he's there now, honestly. No real reason. Just, it'd be funny.
I mean, it would be entertaining, to say the least.
45 finale also had 5.
Okay.
And I'm looking at our old thumbnails, and 47 and 48, we didn't put all the contestants on the thumbnails, but
fair enough.
I wouldn't think those would be any different.
Yeah. Anyway, I could be totally off. That's okay. So let's get into the finale recap. We'll just go by who's still in the game. We're gonna take this in alphabetical order as we always do by players' first names, so there's no bias. We'll talk about each player and say what we think they need to do to win, why they will win, why they won't, and then at the end we'll make our predictions and our preferences. So therefore, you and I'll each pick a player that we think will win and a player that we want to win. It could be the same person, it could be different.
Yeah.
So with that, let's start alphabetically. Nothing comes before A. Aubry Bracco is up.
Nice. Coming into the season, I did not expect her to do this well or go this far.
Yeah.
Like, she went deep in Game Changers, but I honestly just don't remember a ton. Wasn't super memorable. And then
I mean,
Edge of Extinction was kind of a disaster for her. So I was thinking, well, she's kind of gotten worse each time. But she broke that trend this time.
She did.
In a
and
big
I mean,
way.
not only coming into the season, but I didn't think Aubry stood a chance to win 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When you were getting just this weird gameplay of some days her and Genevieve are getting along great, and other days they seem to be each other's nemesis that feels they have to take out the other one tonight or else they're going to self-destruct their own game. But then really from there, that started to change a lot. We started to see big moves made by Aubry. We've got this whole story of the Michelle Aubry divide that really has split the fan base pretty much ever since the day that Korong ended back in 2016. I mean, we're talking a 10-year story between Aubry and Michelle, who are both amazing women to play this game. I obviously have my preference. I was cheering for Michelle since day one. That doesn't take anything away from my view that Aubry played a great game in Korong as well. I just think that Michelle was who I would have voted for to win, and I'm glad she won the game.
Wait, the fan base is divided on that? Who knew?
Who knew? But really, when you look at it, it's like, let me go back. So today's Sunday, the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. So the 20th of May is going to be when we get a winner of Survivor 50, 20th of May, 2016.
Yeah.
It was May 18th. Was the original release of, was the finale of Korong. So this is 10 years and 2 days to the day that Aubry came second. And then now we've got these confessionals almost week in and week out of her, Aubry, talking about where Michelle played the game well and what she can learn from her game. And I'm like, she's putting it into action.
She so well, too. She got a weird edit for a lot of the season, but she's picked it up since then. And yeah. we've seen a really strong game from her lately. She's played some things really well, and she's got herself to this point. So I am excited to see what she does in this finale. I'm
very excited. So what do you think Aubry needs to do to win the game?
Make it to the end.
Fair enough, but...
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was just about to say this.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not going to say every, because then someone will point out one that wasn't this way. A lot of finales kind of have that feeling coming in of, if this player makes it to the end, they win in any combination of Final 2 or Final 3. I think that's her.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All she has to do is make it to the end. Who beats her?
You're right. I think the biggest thing that Aubry needs to do in order to win this game, and I think it goes back to those confessionals, is play like Michelle. And what does Michelle do every finale? Wins her way to the end.
Yeah.
She's done it twice. I think Aubry is in a position where if we get to Final 5 and it's something that takes strength over intelligence and Jonathan or Joe win immunity, Aubry's in a lot of trouble. If Aubry takes that necklace, and then you're looking at either probably Jonathan or Tiffany going out, seeing that Rizzo has an idol, and I don't think anybody is going to vote Joe Hunter out of the game until the finals because Eva's not on this jury, so no one will vote for him.
Eva wasn't on the last jury, and he still got a vote, didn't he?
Did he?
Let me look it up. We'll keep talking.
Yeah, I've got it right in front of me because I'm already on the Wikipedia page.
I love that Wikipedia is where we both go for things like this.
I mean, Wikipedia is great for common sense facts. Joe got a vote from Cedric. Yes, he did.
Oh, gosh. That doesn't help his argument. Nothing against Cedric. Just, I remember really questioning Cedric's decision-making multiple different episodes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know that I 100% agree with you on if she doesn't win immunity at 5, she's gone.
Okay.
I think people are scared of Tiffany as an immunity threat. They don't. She would have been gone last week if she wouldn't have won it there.
Yeah.
They may vote her out because they're afraid of her taking immunity at 4.
That's fair.
So
I think Jeff needs to tell these players going into the vote at 5 what the fans voted for 4.
I'd almost prefer the mystery of what if he doesn't.
I mean, that would be kind of fun. You're right.
It creates more chaos. And then after the vote, you know what? I was going to say he reveals it after we vote someone out at 5.
Yeah.
But what if Probst doesn't reveal the answer until we're at Final 4 Tribal? And he says, here's what we're doing. We're voting. Or here's what we're doing. Fire.
Yeah.
Then they have to plan for both.
That's fair.
I assume he'll say it after the Final 4 immunity challenge.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Because he won't wait till Final 4 Tribal to reveal it. He'll let them know what they're preparing for.
Or they'll go back to camp and either have fire-making kits there or have a piece of tree mail saying, tonight you'll vote out your last juror.
But it would be electric if they didn't know what it was until they got to that
If they make fire
training.
all day and then Jeff goes, Rizzo, you're up to vote. That would be fun.
That way we have to, scramble and plan a vote,
Yeah.
but also practice fire at the same time. We have to prepare for both.
I mean, you may remember how you've, I know, talked about playing in online survivor games. That is exactly what happened to me once, and I tanked my whole game the last day before.
Oh, no.
The host had a twist that said, we'll vote right after final immunity. I won final immunity and had no chance to blindside my number 1 ally.
That stinks.
Yep.
I might have probably said this on the show before. I, for years, have had the thought in my head that if I had ever hosted one of, and this goes back to 2020 when I was playing multiple games at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
If I ever hosted one, my big twist would be instead of a Final 3, we're going to have a Final 4.
That would be fun.
My players would not like that, but yeah, so going back to your question, what does Aubry have to do to win? It's simple. Get to the end.
Yeah.
She beats anyone if she gets there.
So therefore, I guess the obvious answer to our second question is why Aubry won't win. Because she doesn't win immunity and everyone sees her as a big threat to win the game.
Yeah, they vote her out at 5 or 4.
Or if she doesn't know how to build fire, if that's somehow what the casuals decided to vote for.
If she doesn't know how to build fire by her 4th Survivor appearance, then I don't feel bad for her. You might have to do it at 4, but it's also, fire's a key part of the actual, surviving camp and not dying part.
Yeah.
This is your 4th time doing this. You should know how to build fire by now.
Yeah, very much.
So, but yeah, So, who do we have next?
Next, Tiffany and Rizzo will be at the end. So, Joe comes ahead of Jonathan alphabetically. So we have Joe Hunter, who I think is the opposite of Aubry. Why he'll win? He won't.
No chance.
Yeah. Why he'll get to the end? He will.
It could be a surprise final two, and it be he and Jonathan. And Jonathan is also not very well liked by this jury,
That could be a toss-up. If it somehow was a final two between the two guys who just have a physical game and nothing else, I could see the jury going, oh, really, this is our choice, and then letting it come down to who impresses the most in final.
Not even just have a physical game, but like personality-wise, people are tired of Joe getting all up in arms about every aspect of the game he doesn't like. And I don't have a reason why. I don't think Jonathan is well liked by this jury.
I mean, if Joe and Jonathan are going to come in a final two together, I'm not going to complain about it.
That would not be a very fun ending, honestly. Like,
I know, but I'm still not going to complain about it because who's ever had a final two both be on their fantasy team?
Oh yeah, it'd be great for you. It's just as a season, the winner
I
coming
think
down
I've
to those
already
two
won,
but yeah. And we kind of answered also why Joe won't win. Because he gets up in arms and complains about everything Rick does or anytime someone plays the game other than how he plays it.
Yeah.
And he annoys people.
Exactly. So with that, why Joe won't win is I think a lot of that comes down to how he approaches the game. Now, I have a question for you. They obviously both use the same 3 words. We talked about Cedric votes for Joe. If Joe comes and says, you guys might not like it, but I did the honor and integrity thing, is there any chance Coach pulls it off again?
Very likely, yes.
And gives him a vote.
Yes, that's the most Coach thing I can think of.
Yeah. So it's possible in there that Joe, I think, let's say it's a Joe Jonathan Aubry or a Joe Jonathan Rizzo or a Joe Jonathan Tiffany final 3. It's possible Joe comes second, even though I think most of us are expecting him to come third and be a 0-vote finalist.
I hadn't thought of it, but the Coach thing makes absolute sense. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
He did vote well with his jury vote in Heroes versus Villains, though, so there's that.
Heroes versus Villains.
He voted Parvati.
Okay.
And then
I was like, yeah, Russell got 0 votes. So if between Parvati and Sandra, you couldn't really vote wrong.
No, but he voted the way I would have, so I'm gonna promote it and call it smart.
I voted for Parvati.
Both
but I also would not fault anyone who voted for Sandra. I think she played an amazing game as well.
Our very first off-season back in 2023, we did an episode on the Parvati-Sandra thing, so I won't get too sidetracked. But I'll say, they both deserve to win. Parvati had a much harder road to get there and had a much bigger target on her back the entire time.
Yeah, very true.
But I'm not going to begrudge the Sandra voters, because she was incredible also.
Absolutely. So that, I guess, brings us to Jonathan.
Yeah.
Is Jonathan going to get any votes?
Why he wins? He doesn't.
Yeah. And I think the same thing goes for Joe. I don't see a chance unless it's a Joe versus Jonathan final 2. And we all know that Jeff Probst just loves a final 2. He hasn't done one since Kagion.
Why did we do that random one in Kagion?
It produced one of the greatest television moments of Survivor.
I know, but like, why originally? Because we hadn't seen one since like Micro at that point. So
I think it was probably something that production just wanted to keep them on their toes and maybe not make it look a little less like Tony was the only one who did anything in that game. And then they have a chance to vote out Tony, and Wu doesn't take it.
Sonic the Hedgehog style.
If
Say what
Sonic,
you will about Wu as a player in both of his seasons, the man is great at confessionals.
I'm sure we'll talk about Wu because later in the off season, because I've been writing down some ideas, and I have an idea that I know he will fall into.
Oh, I'm excited for this. He's hilarious though. Like literally one of my favorite confessionals of his. I was running through the woods, Sonic the
That
Hedgehog
was
style.
amazing.
Like has this serious face
I mean,
storytelling as he says
that was
that.
good. I think my favorite moment of Wu on his season is at Final Five Tribal Council when he says that I'm stuck with a delusional family, and he says,
Calls himself a foreign exchange student, I think.
yes, he says, Trish is the mom and Tony's the dad, and they're always fighting. And Cass is the older sister, and Spencer's the younger brother, and they don't talk and throw stuff at each other all day. And I'm an international student waiting to be sent back to my country, wishing they'd all shut up.
I forgot about. He's not a great strategic player, but man, he's funny.
Yeah.
So why Jonathan? I could see him getting a vote from Ozzy because
Yeah.
Ozzy on Game Changer jury literally said, "This guy played the game I've tried to play all these times."
Yeah.
Brad played a physical game and voted for Culpepper. And why wouldn't he do the same thing
despite
again?
he tried to give us Oscar, we still got Ozzy for 90% of the show.
But it was new Ozzy. Like, we only got a little bit of old Ozzy.
Yeah. The other thing, Jonathan and Joe, I want to talk about both of them together for a second. If one of them makes it to the final three and one doesn't, would they vote for each other?
I don't.
I think there's a decent chance of that too.
The other three people all want to be sitting at the end next to both of them, though.
Oh, I know, but I'm still sitting there going, wait a minute. If you're Jonathan and you get Ozzy's vote and you get Coach's vote and you get Joe's vote, now we're talking about someone who's not going to win, but who's close to winning.
Yeah. I don't want to see Joe or Jonathan win.
I don't either.
Can you imagine the online community if, like, the ones that live tweet the episodes and overreact to everything? They don't all overreact, but you know the people I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If that final two thing did actually happen and the win came down between those two,
yeah,
Survivor Internet would melt. And I might join them. For once.
All right. So for R comes ahead of T, so that means our next player up is the Riz God.
And how does Rizzo win? It's only one final three scenario that he wins. He has to be sitting next to both of the two goats.
I don't know about that.
I think either of the girls beats him.
I think either of the girls are favorite to beat him coming in. I think there's a spot that Rizzo could outgame, say, Tiffany at final, who seems to be well liked, but we didn't see a lot from. And I don't know how hard she really played the game.
I think he has to be sitting next to both of the two goats that everyone wants to drag to the end.
I think to be the favorite to win, absolutely. You're 100% right. But I do see a world where this jury is 50. They'll be similar to a Winners at War jury compared to a Cagayan jury. These people all love the game.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be willing, at least, even if it's Aubry against Jonathan and Joe, they'll be willing to listen to every answer at Final Tribal Council because they recognize how important it is in the process that we call playing Survivor.
Yeah.
The way many jurors on newbie seasons especially tend to be, let's say, made up their mind 2 weeks before. Or not 2 weeks before in the new era, because we don't play the merge game for 2 weeks. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I see what you're saying. I stand by. Like, I think Rizzo loses to either of the girls, but
Which is fair.
I don't feel like him sitting at the end next to those two guys is super unlikely.
Yeah, I agree.
They can't both win immunity at 5.
Yeah.
And so send one of them home at 5, and then either win immunity at 4, or if Joe or Jonathan wins immunity, convince them that the remaining girl is the biggest threat.
That's it.
I don't think it's the most likely scenario, but I don't think that final 3 is unlikely either.
Oh, I think it could happen. We'll see who goes home at 5, but if Rizzo plays his idol, and let's say one of the two big guys wins immunity, then you're probably looking at a 3-2 vote between Tiffany and Aubry. Whoever wins that will probably, I mean, I don't want to say probably because you have better faith in the viewers than I do. I've seen them vote for no rice. I've seen them vote for powerful idols. I'm not convinced that there's no fire making challenge.
I'm not fully convinced. I'm just like 85, 90% there.
If there is a fire making challenge, I see a world where Rizzo goes in against Tiffany or Aubry, beats them, and then wins the game that way. If it's a vote, I think his chances are effectively 0.
Yeah.
Which would be an interesting redemption story because Rizzo lost a fire-making challenge last season.
Yeah, for sure.
So did Jonathan.
Yeah.
Maybe it's possible the two of them go head-to-head in fire. Who knows?
On the bright side for Jonathan, he won't be facing an actual firefighter that works with fire for a living this time.
That is true.
So, he was never winning that first one.
I don't know. I don't know how much being a firefighter has to do with making fire. It's usually their job to extinguish fire.
Well, yes, but you know what starts it still. Like, he has more experience with fire.
Yeah, no question.
Like, we hadn't started this show yet, but, like, we were friends by then.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I texted you. I remember saying all season, like, if he's in fire, he wins. Nobody wants to face him in fire.
Yeah.
And Mike Turner's also just awesome, so shout out to him.
He was such a great guest.
Yeah. And so, yeah, why Rizzo won't win, he's not in the exact final 3 he needs to win. If one of the girls is in final 3 with him, he loses.
That's right.
Excuse me. So,
no problem.
So we move to Tiffany.
For you. A final player, but one that is a massive threat to win this game.
Why she wins, Aubry's not at final 3.
Fair. I don't think I 100% agree with that as I just explained, but I'm not going to argue with you on it.
Aubry's the one that, like, she's the favorite. If she's at final 3, she beats any combination of people.
But I know you
Tiffany's probably second on my list. If Aubry's
right there, she wins. I talked a lot this season about how you get more into looking at the game and I get more into trying to read the edit. And I think that's why we differ on Tiffany versus Rizzo.
Yeah.
Is if you're just looking at what do players say about the relationships with each player, Tiffany beats Rizzo 1,000%. But if you're looking at what we're getting showed by the editors, Rizzo beats Tiffany.
I will say my counterpoint, though, to the edit argument, which makes sense. If we had been podcasting back when Survivor Samoa was happening, and you were reading the edit, or Not even a season that feels ancient. Let's go with Survivor 41, where the winner was invisible for like half the season. And you were reading.
I mean, Aubry was
Would you
pretty
think either
invisible
of
for
those
half the
two
season.
winners had a shot?
When you look at who was in the finale of Survivor 41, yeah, they were all pretty invisible.
I mean, fair. And Erica's edit came on later in the season.
And that we've seen happen before.
But
Aubry's edit's coming on later. Michelle's edit came on later.
But go to Samoa.
Yeah, that you wouldn't have seen other than you could lay out one thing, and that's there has not been a Survivor player on any tribe that is as big of a dick to other players as Russell Hantz.
I can't think of anything right now, but I'm kind of determined to think of something.
I mean, there might be some who got voted out really early, but
I mean, not to everyone the way Russell was, but Will was pretty awful to Shireen on 40, on 30.
Absolutely.
But Russell's like that to like everyone that's not in his.
I mean, like burning people's stuff.
Technically, Sandra burned his stuff.
Okay, that happened after. That was the only time I didn't feel bad for somebody over things unpurposely getting thrown in the fire.
No, I don't feel bad for him either.
And the only reason I didn't feel bad for him is because he burned his whole tribe's socks and shoes on day one.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was on Samoa, right? That wasn't Heroes Villains?
Nope, that was Samoa. Russell said, I can do 39 days of this, so I want to make it miserable for everybody else.
There's only one Russell Hantz in this world. I'm just going to say that.
And thankfully, there's only one Brandon and one Willie as well.
I've seen none of Willie, but like, of the Hantzes that have been on Survivor, one of them is clearly better TV than the other one.
Yeah.
And it's the one that didn't have a meltdown on screen. To be fair, that was partly Philip induced, so.
Partly, but still.
Yeah, it's still absolutely Brandon's fault, but that felt worth mentioning. But yeah.
All right, so let's get into the wrap up. Well, no. So we haven't completely finished Tiffany's. We got sidetracked. So you say that Tiffany will beat anyone other than Aubry?
Yes.
Okay, I think if Tiffany makes it to the finals against, say, Lizzo and one of the two guys, it's a 1-vote win. Either way, between her and Lizzo.
My likely,
but I think it's extremely close.
My likelihood to win rankings goes Aubry, then Tiff, then Rizzo, and that's the entire list because the other two have no shot of winning.
Yeah.
So.
Fair. So let's get into the final section of this. These are always short episodes just so we can make our predictions now. Who is going to win the game? Who's your pick?
I'll go like full predictions here like I normally do. You don't have to.
Oh, let's do it. No, I got it.
I'm going to say Tiffany goes at 5 because she doesn't win immunity and they're terrified of her winning another immunity at 4.
Okay.
Because she's made herself a threat now, and those types of immunity threats get sent home as soon as they don't win.
I am going to agree with you, but I'm going to add one caveat to that and say that the Liz God has an immunity idol to play right here.
Yeah.
So whoever wins immunity, Rizzo has immunity.
Tiffany goes home at 5. I'm going to say they vote Rizzo out at 4 because Aubry's in charge. She's the best. And I'm not saying she is so far. I'm saying I think she will be at this point. And she'll want to be at the end next to both of the two GOATs. And I think Aubry wins in a final 3 over Jonathan and Joe. Because I just don't see a scenario where they're not both at final 3.
I think you're onto something there. I have a slight difference. Like I said, I have a lot less faith in the fans than you do. I am going to say that Rizzo beats Jonathan in a final fire-making challenge. and therefore Aubry wins the game, Rizzo in second, Joe in third.
Yeah. That's who I think will win. Who I want to win is probably Rizzo because I've met him and he's super cool and he likes High School Musical and Camp Rock like I do.
Nice.
But with that being said, there's also a part of me that would like from a career story arc standpoint, an Aubry win would be so cool.
Yeah.
To go from this close to winning to you went pretty deep but finished in like 6th or 5th place, I think, on Game
This close only counts in a game of horseshoes.
To the most disastrous season of your career. And then you get another shot and you finally do it. Like, what a career arc that
And a shot that she almost didn't get. Aubry was added to the cast like 48 hours before the flyout.
Interesting. That would really complete her career arc in a cool way to me.
It would. I agree with you on that as well. It would be a great career arc to see Aubry win. I'm going to be cheering for Rizzo. I have not met him, unfortunately, but
he's
Rizzo
tall.
Pardon?
He's taller in person than on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Rizzo is one of my favorite players of the new era, up there with Genevieve and Sydney, so I'll be cheering for him, but as I think it's going to be an Aubry win and pretty convincingly.
So I looked up game changers. Aubry finished 5th.
Yeah.
So of 4 seasons, she's made the finale in 3 of them.
That's right.
That's insane.
It is.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it'll be her. I hope it's Rizzo, but I also kind of hope it's her. So.
Well, it's going to be fun regardless. We will be back here on a regular night, so published up next Saturday this Saturday for our finale reactions to talk about the episode and what actually happens. We'll be then here a week later, hopefully when Kevin's free, to do Rites of Passage. And then we'll be getting into our off season. Bruce, what do you want to go ahead and say what our big plan is for the off season?
Are we doing it here or on the recap? Your choice.
Let's do it now.
So, our plan this off season is to do 2 episodes a week.
Yep.
I'm not guaranteeing that will happen every week, but that's the goal.
May not always have to, but it depends on availability and stuff.
Because here's the thing. We've told you guys, like, as much as we love recapping live seasons, we both love off-season mode, too, and talking about random topics that who knows what we're talking about week to week.
Yeah.
But a few months ago, during the last off-season, we did an episode doing our top 5 most underrated seasons, and that got us thinking. Because over on Pit Stop Pals, Kevin and I do rewatches of old seasons, right?
Yeah.
So we're bringing that here. We're doing a rewatch. We came up with the idea after that episode, and ironically, we asked each other if we were going to do this, what season would we want to do? And we both said the same season name at the top of our list.
We did.
So, Brett, reveal it to the people. The season we'll be rewatching, starting after the finale of 50, is
Survivor Vanuatu.
Yes.
Season 9, Islands of Fire. An amazing cast. You have Chris's game winning after being on a tribe with 7 females. Some great characters in there. Amy, obviously, Eliza, Julie. It's going to be a fun rewatch.
And then, from what I remember, an awesome premiere, ceremony with the locals. So,
and I also may be bringing in some extra information. I have the DVD set on this season that I'll be watching it on, not Paramount Plus. So I can go in and actually listen to Jeff and Eliza and Julie and Chris do commentary on some of the episodes and get their takes to bring here.
Yeah, and so if you haven't watched Vanna Want to, watch watch it each week. Watch one episode a week with us. I
That would be fun.
We haven't discussed this off the air. I assume our episode reviews we're gonna try to not spoil anything from future episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just talk about
the
episode that we just watched.
We know who wins, but we won't say that or say, "Oh, we can see how this leads to them winning or lead to this vote." We'll be taking it one episode at a time like it's a live season. So, I assume.
Yeah. And for those, that's exactly what we'll be doing. And then for those of you who also like our sports random interjections, probably not everybody, but look forward to World Cup chat. Probably will film next week, going into both of our two countries, along with our friends south of the border in Mexico, hosting the biggest sporting event in the world. I cannot wait for the next 6 weeks.
World Cup chat's going to be interesting because it's just going to be a guessing game for me.
I mean, I think you'll have a decent idea of just from general logic which teams are really good and which teams are horrible.
Or hey, this team has a player I've heard of and I like. I'll take them. American men aren't going to win the World Cup probably because they never do. So
because they're not even the best team in CONCACAF.
CONCACAF
is the North American Confederation of North American, Central American, and Caribbean Football Associations.
That is quite a name. I see why they use an abbreviation.
The best team in CONCACAF is Canada.
Interesting.
The second is Mexico.
Now do it for women's soccer. Who's the best team there?
In the world or in CONCACAF?
Same answer, I have a feeling.
No, because the best team in women's soccer in the world is España, followed by England, followed by the best team in CONCACAF, the United States of America. We get it, Bruce.
We're third now?
Yeah.
England all the good players retired. That's not all the good ones, but all the ones I know retired.
Spain and England have met in the final of the last 3 major tournaments or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like we won the last Olympics.
Well, with the World Cup and the Euros.
We're not European. We're not in the Euros. That doesn't count.
I know, but it's still in one of the biggest tournaments.
No, I'm not counting that.
Well.
But yeah, here's the difference between men's soccer and women's soccer in our country. The women lost it when they got eliminated from the last World Cup. It was a huge deal. The men, we were hey, they made it to the knockout rounds, and then they lost pretty early, and it was that's what happened. Let's expect. Our country has no expectations for our men's soccer team, and all the expectations for the women, which is.
I mean, ESPN seems to have some pretty high expectations now, and everyone in Europe and Latin America is just laughing at the media. ESPN did a thing online the other week that said 25 players to look out for in the World Cup. 3 of them were Americans.
I can only name Pulisic. Is he even there still?
Yes, he is there.
He plays for Chelsea, right?
No, he plays for Borussia Dortmund.
Well, I remember he signed with Chelsea at one point.
He did play for Chelsea at one point.
And they were very excited they signed him.
Oh, no, he doesn't play for Borussia Dortmund anymore. He plays for Milano.
Oh. So Chelsea's even further in the rearview mirror than we thought.
Well, Chelsea's in the rearview mirror of the Premier League as well. They're in 10th place.
Out of how many?
20.
Well, that's about halfway. That's not terrible.
For Chelsea, that's pretty bad.
Oh. Where's Arsenal?
Do you want an answer? Because I know we both hate them.
Sure.
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucks. The Premier League's stupid now. Where were we?
We were at grab your torches and head back to camp pretty much.
Yeah, be watching. I'll say this about the off season. We'll try to do 2 episodes a week. If it's only 1 episode a week, it'll be the rewatch. It won't be the topical episodes.
We'll see what we can fit into our schedules, but
yeah,
should be fun.
So be watching for that rewatch. We're both super excited about that. Bye, everyone.
Good night.